Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. A topic which may make you a bit uncomfortable, and it's something which people don't mostly talk about. We are going to talk about what's keeping you stuck when you are healing from a toxic relationship, or the common traps when you are healing from narcissistic abuse. This is for you if you've left that relationship, you are doing no contact, and everything is going okay, but deep inside you still feel that you're not making any progress at all, and you even feel so stuck in your healing journey. You may have even thoughts of you were better off in that relationship, and you even think that your abusive ex is like having the time of their lives, and here you are struggling and feeling stuck. You also have this knowledge about personality disorders and all those psychological terminologies, all those terms on narcissism, all those narcissistic terminologies, and you even hold the self-proclaimed PhD in narcissism, but deep inside you still feel so unhappy and sad. And if you are watching this, probably you might even be sharing content about toxic relationship and even giving great advice to other survivors on online forums, and everyone thinks that you've got it together, but deep inside you still feel so stuck and stressed. You are constantly triggered, and you keep asking yourself why things are not getting better for you. If you've struggled with this state for quite some time, then I'd like to share with you 4 things that you don't realize you're doing that might be sabotaging your recovery from abuse. You see, healing from abuse is not an easy thing, and it will push you to the deep corners within yourself which you are afraid of exploring. And today I'm going to shed some light on some things you might be doing that might be doing more harm than good in your healing journey, so that you can finally be free and focus more on your healing journey. The first trap when you are recovering from a toxic relationship is informational abuse. The trap that keeps people stuck is believing that understanding and learning about narcissism, trauma, and all those terminologies is what healing is all about. Yes, knowledge has its place in your healing journey. It brings awareness and clarity, it can offer closure, and it can also bring awareness on some of the things which were happening in the relationship. It can also offer you an insight on who you are dealing with and their manipulative ways. But that's more like it. Everything about knowledge is on the surface level. But something about this space of toxic relationship, it's like knowledge has been given the most importance in healing instead of taking action or applying that knowledge in your healing journey. Because application of that knowledge is where healing is, not accumulation of that knowledge. Overloading yourself with information is pointless when deep inside you still feel sad and empty. In fact, it makes things even worse because it feeds you with an illusion that you are doing well, but yet you find yourself so unhappy. It also becomes a barrier when it comes to seeking help because the ego will be like, I already know about narcissism and trauma, so why bother seeking help from a psychologist or from a coach or from a specialist? I know these things. So it becomes a barrier to seeking help because you feel that you know, but deep inside you are hurting. And I'm going to give you an analogy here to explain why knowledge is a trap. The analogy is this: when you are hungry, no amount of reading about food will satisfy you. In fact, you might even starve to death because you spend most of your time reading about it till you even forget to eat. So the thing about knowledge is the ego is fed, but the belly is still empty. The fact of the matter is you cannot address inner pain or trauma without going inwards and processing it. The rational part of the brain, or the cognitive part of the brain, has no ability to release the inner trauma that has hurt you and is continuing to affect the way you live your life presently. The other thing about knowledge is it offers the path of least resistance when it comes to dealing with our painful hearts, since going inwards is not an easy thing to do. So we choose to accumulate knowledge because it provides an escape and a sense of relief from doing the actual painful and emotionally challenging work. In fact, like in this space, I've even interacted with people or survivors of abuse who chose to pursue like psychology as a major in college because of being in a toxic relationship. Yes, there's no problem with that, but the problem comes in when someone chooses to pursue that psychological like degree or something with the hope that it will help them heal after they finish their studies. So that's where the trap comes in. Accumulation of psychological knowledge is not healing. In fact, it can be a very, very good alibi when it comes to escaping from the actual pain inside us. Processing is healing, not accumulation of knowledge. That's why it offers the path of dissolution. It offers the easy path. So, what's the solution to information abuse? What I'll suggest is, if you are stuck in this trap, the best way is to immediately stop your pursuit of knowledge and go inwards. That's the only way. If you're starting your healing journey and you want to just learn about a few aspects of narcissism and toxic relationships, you can just pick 2 or 3 books and stop there. Because in a way, all these books have the same kind of knowledge. You will not get anything different from like reading 100 books or watching 1,000 videos. It will just keep you stuck and it will feed you with an illusion, yet you are not moving forward. Healing will only happen when you process your trauma and heal your inner wounds. You can even do this without spending tons of money or wasting your time consuming tons of information. So if there's someone who's been advising you like you can only heal through this by watching a YouTube video or by reading this book, then that will keep you stuck. The only way is to go inwards. You might read 1,000 books, but it will still bring you back to going inwards. The second trap when you are healing from narcissistic abuse is victimhood. This is a hard one to chew, but the more we face it and we explore it together, the more we'll be free and we'll understand what we need to do to heal. So for today, for this part, I want you to drop that question of, I was not asked to be abused. Just leave it aside and then we'll explore this together so that we can explore the issue of victimhood and how it keeps you stuck and what you need to do instead. So you see something about leaving a toxic relationship. Like once you leave that relationship, there are only 2 paths you can take. There's this path of taking full responsibility of your healing journey, and there's the other path of being stuck in the past with feelings of anger and resentment over what happened. There are only 2, not many. Healing is about taking full responsibility and acknowledging that there are some parts of you that attracted or kept you in that toxic relationship. So it can be your lack of boundaries, your unhealed trauma, your fear of abandonment, your people-pleasing behavior, your low self-esteem, your conditioning and beliefs, or just anything within you which consciously or unconsciously drew you to that toxic relationship or kept you in that abusive relationship. You may have, of course, spotted some red flags in that relationship, but you still felt powerless to leave or to address some of the relationship issues in a timely manner. Your weaknesses and strengths and insecurities were also exploited by the narcissist as they sought to satisfy their needs. So, being stuck in victimhood is denying all those factors that may have led you or that may have kept you in that toxic relationship. And you only stick to this position that the narcissists are miserable people. It's more of family thinking that we are perfect and only those people who come into our lives are flawed. In quotes here. So, when you are stuck in victimhood, you will not seek to explore the deep parts within yourself and you'll be so anchored in the past. In fact, you'll even be focusing more on what they did to you instead of focusing more on what you need to do to heal your wounds once and for all so that you will not fall for the same kind of people in your life. And I'm going to give you another analogy so that you can really help us understand this point. The analogy to help you understand victimhood is this. When you are hungry, no amount of scolding the chef or obsessively thinking about why you are hungry will satisfy your hunger. You still have to eat. So, how do you break free from this victimhood or from this victim mentality, what you can do is do not worry so much of the narcissist or of your ex being miserable. Focus more on what you need to do to heal your wounds. Don't like focus on what they did to you. Focus on addressing some parts within you that may have allowed the abuse to take place. And while you are doing this, I want you to exercise this with gentleness and compassion and care, as if you are handling an egg. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's just about being honest with yourself and just saying that, yeah, it was my lack of boundaries. It was my people-pleasing behavior that kept me so long. It was my conditioning, and then it was my unhealed trauma. And then look at those parts, and then now focus on dealing with those parts. It's like you should take full responsibility of healing to the point where like you are deeply secure within yourself and you can reclaim that joyful life you deserve without depending on another person to bring that life to you. You can also look at the past relationship as part of the journey which exposed some of the unhealed parts within you. And now you need to do something about them so that you can permanently keep away toxic people in your life. It's more like you accept that you have the ability to find yourself, have boundaries, and work on yourself to the point that no one can use your weaknesses and insecurities against you. And here's the thing, never delegate your happiness to another human being who's also suffering with their deep insecurities and their distorted worldviews. So, breaking free of victimhood is taking full responsibility of your life. The third trap is getting into a situationship or a new relationship. Yeah, you've just left that toxic relationship, you are feeling lonely, unloved, and abandoned. And you're used to your abusive ex occupying most of your time. The relationship also like kept you on toes and so busy. So the end of that relationship has left like a huge gap in your life. And you're now finding yourself with nothing to focus on, and the loneliness is eating you from the inside. And you may also want to jump into another relationship quickly so that you can show your ex or you can show other people that you are not single and you have options. This is a common one. That's where most victims of abuse succumb and jump into another relationship because the pain is just so unbearable. This is actually a very huge trap in very many ways. The first thing is you are most vulnerable after leaving a toxic relationship because your reality is distorted and you are so desperate for anything just to cover up that inner emptiness and loneliness. And toxic people can sniff your desperation from far away, and you might just end up in another toxic relationship from this new relationship or from this situationship or from this friends with benefits. This because like you are just like a wounded gazelle, which makes the best prey for even older lions. Apart from the new relationship turning out to be toxic, you will also be running away from going inwards and healing. You could also like make some hasty decisions emotionally and sexually. Like maybe you can have a child that may ruin your already fragile self. In fact, the relationship you are getting into without healing is an unhealthy relationship in the first place, as you are just patching things up and taking your emotional baggage with you. Yes, a situationship will temporarily mask the pain, but it will still be there, and it will manifest through your emotional unavailability or your countless issues in that new relationship. A relationship built out of pain and escape is not a relationship at all. It's just a crutch. A new relationship will also keep you stuck as you'll not even bother going inwards because you'll be like, I'm in a new relationship, so why bother? Like, why should I go inwards? I am already in a relationship. You see? So there's no problem with me. I'm just in a relationship, so there's no need to go inwards. Let me also share another analogy to help this point of getting into a new relationship without healing is like not the best way to go. You see, when your house is on fire, plus you included, moving to another house will not put off the fire in your own house. In fact, like you will be so comfortable in that new temporary shelter to even bother to put off the fire in your own house or to even rebuild your house in the first place. You may also like burn down the new house because you are still on fire. The solution is this: do not jump into another relationship before healing your wounds. And that's how we will break this generational cycle of abuse together. This also includes like friends with benefits kind of arrangement, because you'll say, no, it's not a relationship, it's just friends with benefits. Because of your desperation and because of your insecurities, you'll get easily attached and you'll get so swayed so quickly. So, if you are already in another relationship without healing, then there are two options. You can either like pause that relationship and then go and heal fast, or just tell your partner that, hey, I'll be going to therapy or I'll be seeking help the following day because I want to heal my past baggage so that we can have a healthy relationship together. The last common trap, which is mostly given by people as advice, is keeping yourself busy. I've read this in countless Facebook groups or just all online forums where people advocate that the only way is to distract yourself by engaging in a time-consuming activity so as to mask the painful feelings. This time-consuming activity can be watching a movie, hitting the gym, burying yourself with work or overworking, or just anything that can keep you away from feeling and processing your painful emotions. All these distractions are geared towards avoidance of going inwards and resolving our wounds permanently. Distraction is just a band-aid for a wound that needs more for it to heal. There is no amount of band-aid that can heal a deep wound. Yes, they will just provide temporary relief and that's it. And we choose distraction because it's easy, and we know that once we acknowledge that the wound is there, we have to address it. So we say that, let me just distract myself and not see it, but it's there. Because the moment you see it, you have no option but to address it. Let me also give you an analogy to explain this thing of distraction. You see, when your house is burning or on fire, painting it or opening the windows will not put off the fire. In fact, the more you avoid taking a direct approach of extinguishing the fire, the more the house with you inside will be consumed by the flames. So, distracting ourselves from the pain of heartache or breakup, abandonment, or fear doesn't make that pain go away. We just hide it behind the scenes, and that pain will still be pulling the strings in our present life. And distractions also feeds the ego, which will be, the ego will be like, nah, I'm okay, I can handle this on my own, I don't even need any help. That's why people confuse masking the negative feelings and being busy with true healing. If you are keeping yourself busy, it will do you more harm than good, and the wound will even keep growing, and it will affect the way you live your life presently. So the best thing to do is this: find a safe space to release those painful emotions and address those inner wounds so that you can enjoy every single bit of your life. And then you see, the thing is, once you heal, you will also be enjoying those things you are using as distractions more, because you'll be feeling more present and you'll not be using them as distraction. You'll just be enjoying them as they are. If it's watching a movie, you'll just be watching a movie for the sake of it, not as a distraction. You'll be watching a movie for the sake of enjoying the movie. You'll be hitting the gym for the sake of hitting the gym, or for the sake of working out, not as a distraction from the pain you are feeling deep inside. The thing about healing is, healing comes out of love and accepting yourself unconditionally, while distraction comes out of fear of opening the Pandora's box. Distraction is more of maintaining the status quo, and it even offers a certain feeling of comfort. But healing shakes things up so that it can open you up to an authentic and joyful life. And addressing your wounds is like building a new stable foundation for your life, while distraction is like painting a house, but this house has a leaking roof and rotten walls. So it will still be, you've done nothing. So there are many traps when it comes to healing from narcissistic abuse. But the main thing to note is that a trap is something that prevents you from going inwards and addressing your core wounds. The pain may be unbearable, but that doesn't mean that you choose the easy path and run away from it. The easy path, in a way, is not the easiest in some sense because it will keep you stuck with the pain much longer. Let's be honest. Would you rather feel intense pain for just a day and release it? Or would you rather feel half of that intense pain daily for the rest of your life? To conclude, when you understand some of the things that are sabotaging your healing journey, it can save you years and years of searching for something which you think is outside of you or which you think it's outside there. Yet all along, it's been deep within you. The only way is to go inwards and address those wounds once and for all. No need of patching things up or just escaping. Just address them once and for all so that you can live a life. I know it's not easy to unlearn or drop some of our deeply held beliefs about recovery, and that's why you need to challenge yourself and never settle for less. If you're in a toxic relationship, just say this: you've been in the worst kind of relationship, then why not now strive for the best kind of relationship? Not just the not so bad, as I said before. Don't you think like it's better for you to drop this accumulation of knowledge and face your fears and reconnect with your authentic self so that you can pursue other enjoyable things in life? Like, there's life beyond this learning about toxic relationships. There's another life out there for you. That's it for me today, guys. Hope you found this challenging and provoking, and I hope it will fire you up to finally work on yourself and go inwards. That's it for me today. Feel free to share and comment. Until next time, thank you.